Did you know that based off of astrocartography, you can move to a different location and change your whole life? Astrocartography is something that TikTok has been talking about a lot lately, and I'm going to explain it to you. So essentially what it does is it lays down all of the placements in your chart and all of the different lines of all the different planets all over the globe. For instance, in one location, you could have a Saturn line, and this line could be somewhere where you can really find yourself working very hard towards your personal goals and career endeavors. Another line you could find yourself on is your Pluto line, and this can bring you through a lot of death and transformation cycles. Regardless of the line that you're on, there are three things that you need to know if you do decide to look into astrocartography. When looking at a particular location, you want to check what that planet line is doing in your natal chart. So this is going to require for you to know your natal chart pretty well. This is really important because a lot of people are gravitating towards maybe a sun line or a Jupiter line. But if in the natal chart that sun is in its detriment, or that sun is being afflicted by other heavy malefics, then that place might be a little bit more challenging than you would think the sun line should be. Same goes for Jupiter. It can be something that's a blessing if it's well placed in the chart, or it can be something that can bring excess to someone's life if it's badly aspected. Number two, the second thing you want to do is make sure that you pull the relocation chart for the place that you want to move to or visit. This chart is super, super, super important because, of course, the natal chart will take precedence, but the relocation chart is going to give you another layer of how that energy is going to play out, how it's going to affect you, and how you're going to be working with your own natal planets and placements in a little bit of a different way based off that new location. And the last thing is going to be looking at the astrocartography in relation with that relocation chart. So basically going back to step one, but instead of using the natal chart's placements, we're going to look at the placements in the relocation chart and see the lines that are corresponding there. So you're basically going to be doing step number one, but instead of looking at the condition of the planet's lines through the natal chart, we're going to be looking at the condition of these lines now in the relocation chart. So for instance, if it's your sun line that you're moving to, now we're going to be looking at where is the sun located in the relocated chart? What house is it in? What is it doing with the rest of the chart? This is super important in you being able to not feel blindsided when you go to particular locations that maybe seem more positive based off of what you've heard on TikTok, based off of what you've heard online, or your own assumptions that you would think a sun line sounds positive, or a Jupiter line sounds positive. And generally, yes, we can find those placements to be more positive. But like I said, it really does matter the condition of that sun in the natal chart, what it's doing with other planets in the natal chart, and same with the relocation chart. Moving to your sun line or your Jupiter line or these more positive lines might not be what you need based off your particular birth chart and the relocation chart for that place. I'll give you a little quick example. I have a really good friend and she loves being in a particular location. And I thought, oh, it's got to have her sun line, or it's got to have something that feels super good. And when I checked into the location, what it had was her Pluto line. And that kind of took me for a second. But she happens to be a Scorpio rising, and Scorpio's modern ruler is Pluto, which means that she was able to feel more in her own element, in her own energy by being on that line. That's probably not going to be the experience for someone who isn't ruled by Pluto. Someone else is probably going to have a much darker experience than she did. What are some of your personal experiences with astrocartography?